What's up, everybody? PJ Braun here, president of Blackstone Labs. I'm only wearing this mask because we're selling them now on the website because we have to. Well, we don't have to, but why not? Inside all of the gyms down here, you have to have a mask on to get in. Makes sense, so we respect that. We're at Busybody Fitness Premium, and they test everybody's temperature and everything when you come in. This is probably the cleanest gym that I've been to. No disrespect to anyone else. They clean the hell out of this place. There's sanitary sprays and everything on every single station, so everybody appreciates that. And it is a special day because one of my favorite Legion members, Emily, is here today. So just to tell you guys a little bit about Emily's history. So I met her and Alex, who's also here today, at the Natural Body event last year in New York. They came to introduce themselves and tell me about how they were using Blackstone Labs, and then eventually she did the Beat PJ, and she was one of the there was only a few people that got first place votes, and she got one of the first place votes. And what place did you finish overall?
10th.
So she finished 10th overall. I was extremely impressed with her transformation, and I know that her goal is to get a pro card in the bikini division, and I happen to be very good at that kind of stuff. So regardless of the fact that I enjoy training all sorts of people, because I've been specializing in taking women to stage for all these years, I said, I think me and you can do some big things together. She's very young, and it is, like I said, her 22nd birthday today, and she wanted to celebrate it by coming all the way down here and doing legs. So we're gonna have an awesome leg workout. I have my man Jay, who you guys will know as Beefcake from the call center. What's the actual Beefcake? What is it?
Beefcake 561.
Beefcake 561. Many of you guys have already spoken to him with help with the products and training and everything else through my call center. He's an awesome rep, awesome guy, and he came to train also today. And I'm just gonna give you guys a really good overall lower body day. So it's not gonna be a quad priority, it's not gonna be a glute priority. We're gonna just hit everything pretty even. And if you were only training legs once a week, this would be the one for you. If you're doing legs multiple times a week, you probably wanna scale some of this back. She is actually doing legs more than once a week, but we're gonna hit it really hard today anyway. And then I'm gonna have her go and eat a cheat meal. And that's it. I don't know if you want to add anything into that. You don't have to.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so we're going to go train and hit it hard. And thank you always to Busybody for the hospitality. And I'm sorry that I made us all stand out here. It's super hot today. So we're going to go in and get it. All right, so I start a lot of my leg workouts with hamstring curls, specifically lying hamstring curls. I think that it's just an excellent way to really warm up the knee. And that may not make sense to you guys, but I find that when you do single joint exercises like leg extensions and things like that, yes, you're only isolating one part of the lower body, but just the movement itself starts getting blood into the area of the knee. And with the lying hamstring curl, pre-fatiguing that area, it's so rare that you meet anyone that has overly developed hamstrings, especially women. When they turn around and the shows are judged from the back, it's rare that you see somebody that you're like, wow, they're just dominant in the back and they need more in the front. So, that being said, we get a good warm-up in, and we also pre-fatigue an area that most likely is gonna need more work anyway, and then we get into a lot more of the serious stuff. So, what I tell people is, depending on how much volume you're gonna do, whether you wanna do 3 sets, 5 sets, the rep range I prefer for all of my pre-exhaust exercises is like a 15 to 20. So for her, what I'm gonna have her do now is 4 sets, 20 reps. It's not really about the weight or going to failure. It's about strict form and short breaks and getting all that blood in there. So once she starts, you're gonna see that we're gonna move pretty fast, and I'm gonna make sure that her form is perfect. And I'm gonna show you a couple variations, which you've probably seen in some of my videos before. But this is the pace that you need to go with this, guys, quick. So when I have anyone doing hamstring curls, a couple things that are super important. You always want to make sure your hips are pressed firmly in. I see a lot of people that go too heavy and they hitch their glutes up and down. then you won't activate the hamstring the right way when you're doing that. Super, super important. Another thing, I like to have the toes flexed like this. So I'll curl up and keep them like that the whole time. And I'm gonna explain why in a second. So right now we're just warming up. We're letting her go through it. I haven't really counted the reps. Have you counted any of the reps?
Yeah, I'm at 14.
14, perfect. Good. All right, so while she's resting, I'm gonna explain to you why I did that with her feet. Proper mechanics when you are thinking about getting the hamstring to fire and execute the right way. When you exert force through the heel, this actually fires the hamstring considerably more. So you think about when you're running, or the actual motion of running, when you're running the right way, your heel strikes first, right? So you're in this tense motion, then the rest of your foot follows through, and then you explode through your toe. And then this motion is repeated as the heel coming down first. You don't run on your toes the whole time. Now by doing this aggressive motion through the heel first fires your hamstring way harder, and it just recruits way more muscle fibers. So by putting your foot in that position, your hamstring is in position to fire the whole time. It's just a simple little change that you can do. I also, on the flip side, and people sometimes want to debate me on this, I see people doing leg extensions basically the same way, where they have their toe down like this. Now you would want to have your toe flexed up, and I'm going to explain the same thing. Now you might think, okay, well this is the opposite, why wouldn't he have his toe flexed down? But when your toe is flexed up in this position, coming down like this, you actually keep way more tension around the quadricep rather than on the patella tendon, which I've had certain people try to debate with me, but simple practice on your own, practical application, and just paying attention to the way that your body feels, you'll actually feel yourself that the quad feels better when your toe is flexed up than down in that stretch like that. So what I want you to do now is just put your feet a little bit closer together. Keep your toes like this, flexed like this the whole time. And now we're gonna go through it again. Good. So where she is now, this is where I would consider ideal positioning for the hamstring. Good. Good. So I'm just going to show you a little variation on this set, like when you're on your own. If you haven't seen me do these in videos, it's definitely good to mix it up like this. You're going to put your feet all the way together, like that. And you're going to concentrate on keeping your knees together the whole time, keeping your feet in that flexed position, and doing it exactly like this the whole way. You're actually going to feel it a lot more on the inside, like that. Just a simple variation, so I'll have you do it now. So knees are going to stay together, feet are going to stay together like this, and you're just going to the whole time. Good. 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 Just that little difference changes it a lot, right? So now, the complete opposite, and this is an easier one to do when you're on a seated hand, but now you're going to go the opposite. You're going to actually open your legs up wider. Okay. You can angle your toes out a little bit. And this you're going to feel through the outside a lot more. So, take a little wider stance. Yep. Toes angled out like that. And now you're going to curl up. So the complete opposite of what we just did. But now you'll actually feel it a little bit more through the outside. Good. Good. Very good. Feel a little more on the outside there. It's a lot different. So I like to do it like that on a seated hand. It's easier to actually just concentrate on the outside. On the lying ham, I really like doing that variation with the feet together. And I always kind of break things down for people that compete versus like everyone else, because when you're on stage and you're hitting that back shot, this inner separation through here, how hard it is to develop that and get it to show, but how much better it makes you look in that pose. Just adding in variations like this do a lot.
Because I've only ever done like parallel, but like different angles of your feet. I've never done the actual
I always
legs.
encourage people to, when you're using machines, try using lighter weight like we just did, and moving your positioning around just to see where it feels different. Because just because a machine is designed to be done one way, doesn't mean that you can't alter it and feel the muscle working in other ways. It's not, you're not cheating or doing it wrong. And Charles Glass, for instance, has made himself famous by essentially doing exercises wrong. And now I'm obviously being silly saying that, but he has put people backwards in machines, sideways in machines, and by trying these things out, figured out, well, wow, we're actually isolating the muscle in a completely different way. So when you use light enough weight where you can actually concentrate and feel it the right way, you might find out I get way more out of doing an exercise this way versus the way everybody else is telling you to do it. A lot of gyms don't have these hip bench thrust machines. Now, that's fine. We've done tons of videos where people just do them on the floor. If you do have the option to use one of these in the gym, they're awesome. You might as well do it. Just put you in ideal position to get it flexed the right way. So when you're doing this, right, this machine's actually super easy. We've had people do, pretty good amount of weight on here before. So obviously when you have a good amount of weight on, strap yourself in. I'm not gonna do that right now. So the safeties. So the safeties here on the side, come forward, and it's really good when you're by yourself because you can obviously put the safeties back in, boom, you don't have to worry about putting a pad on, rolling the weight onto your lap. Most of you guys probably won't have that option. It's fine doing it the old-fashioned way. If you have a cool gym like this where you can do it, might as well use it. So, I don't know if you've ever used this before, so we'll start out with no weight, just so you can see. I like the feet a little closer.
Okay.
All right. And now all the force always comes through your heels. So you're driving hard through your heels. So you're going to push up with your heels. And then the safeties go forward. Mm-hmm. Now the whole time, the force stays on your heels, not your toes. Yep. So you're just going to come straight down and then push up with your heels. So now I know this is probably super easy because there's no weight on, but that's okay. We want to do the form the right way first. So we're gonna try to keep your knees right here the whole time. Just come back down, drive up through the heels. Good. Now what's super important when you're doing this, free weight or on the machine, is when you come to the top, we're squeezing the glutes really hard. Now a lot of people don't get that extra flex in at the top. Very, very important. I see people, you don't have to keep holding it, just keep going. So I see people who they're focused on just throwing the weight up and they're not getting this extra contraction, which really, really fires the glutes. So if you're watching somebody at home from the side and you're watching their hips, they need to come all the way up and have their glutes flexed at the top. Good. Feeling this in your butt a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is an awesome exercise. When these became very popular, everyone talked shit about it. Let's do two more. One more. Good, now the safeties just go back. Boom, you're out. So, obviously when you don't have weight on, it's not as important to do that. When you throw some weight on, it makes a big difference. So everyone talks shit about this exercise when people started doing it and saying that, oh, if you're really gonna train hard, you're gonna go and squat. That's actually pretty false. So there's been a lot of study, actual EMG studies, electromyograph, where they hook you up to machines to see how much the muscles are flexing. And this actually recruits the most glute fiber overall. So you actually will get way, way, way more flexion out of the glutes doing this than when you're squatting. Now squat being a multi-joint exercise, you're working your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, and a lot of people don't squat the right way. A lot of people squat through their back or aggressively through their quads or through their hips. When you're trying to break the muscles down and isolate them as much as possible, if you're trying to focus on the glutes as much as possible, this is far more effective, and I know people are gonna talk shit, then doing a squat. Now, squat is considered like the king of all exercises because it's the hardest. Just because something's really, really hard doesn't mean that's the most effective. And that's not taking a lazy or easy way out, because we actually are going to squat after this. But when you're trying to maximize what you're getting out of each area, you want to overload that area. Then when you're doing all your compound stuff and everything else is firing and working and tired, you'll get way more out of that stuff. I have had this, and I'm not trying to keep rambling on, but I've had so many guys that are like, fuck that, I don't want to do these types of exercises. And I'm going to shout somebody out, not because he's on my team and that I love him, but Sammy Gannum does these exercises a lot, and his glute insertion development over the past couple of years has gotten tremendously better versus guys that don't want to do these kinds of exercises. We're going to throw a little weight on it. You're going to see, once you like start getting into this, you're going to be able to do like way more than this. We're going to be like conservative right now, just so I want you to feel it the right way.
Yeah. Go up first, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then this just goes forward.
Got it.
All right. So remember, pushing through the heels the whole time. You want to try to keep your knees in. Good. 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 Now, on the next one, what we're going to do on the next set is we're going to strap you in a little more, just because I want to make sure your back is staying against this pad, which is going to be a little hard to do without you being strapped in. It's fine because there's not any weight on right now. We're going to do 5 more. 4. 3. 2. 1 more. Good. Hold back. All right.
Okay, so this has to be tight.
Yep, so we're gonna strap it in. Now, when you don't have this machine and you're doing it free weight, there's nothing supporting your back anyway, so it's all about your core. Since we have the option of having this back support, we're gonna use it. It's just like if you're doing a hack squat, for instance, you're pushing your back in, just protects your back. I mean, keep it tight. You know, your form is fine anyway, and it's lightweight, you're not gonna hurt yourself. Just always wanna make sure that you need it.
Do you want me to just stay here?
We're gonna progressively work up on these.
This is cool. I've never used this machine.
Yeah, this is
I feel
an awesome.
it's lightweight, but I feel it.
I don't know if you've ever seen any of the videos that Frida Paulson has done, but she does her hip thrusts or glute thrusts pretty much with just her body weight most of the time to start out her workouts to activate everything the right way.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it the right way and you're executing it the right way, you're gonna get way more out of that than, and it's not talking shit, because some of them do it with great form. I see a lot of like the female competitors, and some of them are like small bikini girls, that will go in free weights and they'll put like 315. I've even seen girls do it with 405, which is crazy. So, there is a few women out there, Jenna Geary, who is really strong and does it the right way with a lot of weight. Most people though, you're just jamming the weight up. You're not getting anything out of that. You want to be pushing through your glutes so they're contracting the whole time.
Right.
And when you do exercises the right way, they get hard very fast. I actually want to, because I don't want to do 1,000 sets on this. I think I want to put a 45 on.
Yeah, I watched that video of Frida like with the activation thing like, on her. She was doing the hip thrust and the kickback.
Like I've done these with Marissa, who's used to doing it the old-fashioned way. She's pretty strong too, and I've been like super conservative with her on here, and even like putting like these on, never doing it before. She's after like a few sets, she was like, I feel like I can do this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
All right, you know, rather be safe than sorry. So
She
now
also has really strong legs, so
She does.
like she's very like dominant.
I want to make sure that we get you strapped in tight with this now. Good. 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 2 more. 1 more. Good, and push this in. How's that?
I felt a lot more.
Good form.
Sweet.
So these are earlier exercises. Everything counts, by the way. People are always like, oh, well,
Yeah, I don't
how many
do that
actual
until
like
warm-up. Yeah,
working
count them.
sets, this and that. Like everything that we're doing is part of the workout. So on these particular exercises that I'm using as like pre-exhaust exercises, we're not going to failure on really any of these.
Yeah.
They're designed as, well, they're pre-fatiguing, right? So we're fatiguing the area, we're making the area tired, so it has to work harder on a lot of the other stuff. That doesn't mean that this stuff doesn't count. So I use the expression like, don't blow your load on these exercises, meaning don't go to complete failure on these. Now, if you're gonna design a workout where you're going to failure on all your sets, you just bring your volume down a lot. But when we're doing a lot of volume, we're just trying to keep getting blood in more and more and more, I like to save those failure sets to the last. So, again, we're gonna keep doing a lot more. This is all part of the workout, but this is all really warming up for like the serious stuff that we're gonna do after. Good. Now when you're doing these with free weights, you don't have anything, you've got to hold on to your hand, so there's no belt to strap you in anyway. So, come up, push this forward. All right, here we go. Right up, good. Always driving through your heels. Good. Good. Very good form. Good. 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 Come up a little higher. All the way up. There you go. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going from your last set of these. Let's do 2 more all the way up. 1 more. Very good. Pull it in. Very good. Perfect. Very good form. Now, when you start getting into heavier weight, if you're not used to these or if you don't have somebody watching you, as you were getting fatigued, you were starting to come a little shy of getting that full extension. That's why I was telling you to come all the way up. It's more important that you get that full extension and flexion through your glutes than just moving the weight. So that's when you're doing these on your own, at home, doing free weights, you want to make sure that you're able to contract the glutes really, really hard. We've done quite a bit. We've done hamstring isolation. Now we've also done glute isolation exercise, but because we're still generating flexion through the lower body, we're still getting plenty of blood everywhere else through the knees, into the quads. So although we haven't done a true quad fatigue exercise, the quads are such a dominant muscle for pretty much everybody. I'd rather you fatigue everything else first so that they have to keep on working and then let the quads assist where they're going to be dominant anyway, rather than doing it in the opposite where your quads will like to take over and then you're not getting as much blood into the other areas unless you're super, super concentrated. All right, so this is one of my bread and butter combos that I've done with everyone, male or female. I find that women have typically better stamina with stuff like this. No offense, guys. But whether you're a bodybuilder, bikini competitor, anyone, the combination of the dumbbell plie squat, Romanian deadlift, just an outstanding combo for the lower body. A lot of prioritization in the hams and glutes, but like I said, we're still gonna get a lot of blood into the quads. And with these 2 exercises, you'll be surprised of how fast you get fatigued. And when you get fatigued on these exercises, especially the Romanian deadlift, getting sloppy with your form, all you're gonna do is mess with your lower back and not activate the hams the right way. So we're gonna start a little more conservative, make sure form is perfect. So for you, we're gonna start out with a 30-pound dumbbell for the plie squat. So you're gonna do 15 reps, super strict form, and then you're gonna come over to the Romanian deadlift, and you're gonna do 15 reps, super strict form. Main thing with the Romanian deadlift that I always tell everybody, big difference between a stiff leg and a Romanian deadlift is the Romanian deadlift slightly wider stance, and you're really, really concentrating on getting your hips back as far as you can. So a lot of people, when they do a stiff legged deadlift, they just bend over, okay? And you're just getting way too much in your lower back like that. The Romanian deadlift, it's really, really about this activation of getting your hips and glutes to come back. I'm obviously not going to be as flexible as you, but I can already feel it right here. So people are always like, oh, how far down I should go. You'll feel the stretch, and then you're driving through your heels to get yourself back into that contracted position. So
for the play squats, you hold the dumbbell here, right? Or do you hold it
so
here?
they're both essentially the same thing. This is typically called a goblet squat. The motion is the same. Now, by holding the weight here versus here, the goblet squat, you're going to have a lot of core activation because you're holding and squeezing it in. Yeah. I like the PA squat, the dumbbell PA squat, down here a little more because it's just really easier just to focus on the glutes and hams that way. Now, one thing that I think is extremely important when you do a PA squat also is I like to really exaggerate the toes being out and your knees coming out and down. So I see a lot of people with their feet straight like this, and what they do is they come out with their knees like this. It's super awkward. They roll on their ankles. It's just a lot more dangerous like that. When you turn your toes out, it may feel awkward at first, but your knees are actually designed to go where your toes are going. Now, for me, I'm not as flexible as you. I can already feel it coming down like this, and you're tired, so you're going to feel it too. But the key is, just like all these other good exercises, pushing through your heel the whole time.
It's good to know, because I used to do it like more like this.
That's almost everybody I find doesn't do these the optimal way. So the way that I correct it, it may seem a little awkward at first, but you're going to get a lot more out of it. Good. Good. Just let your knees go straight up.
I feel it all the way.
Perfect. You can just let your arms totally hang. It'll be easier. You'll fit. Good. Right here. Now, it's usually easier as far as just holding the weight to alternate your hand.
Yeah.
If you have straps, you can do it like that. But
I always prefer this. You prefer it here? Here?
Right outside the shoulders should be perfect. Go. Core straight. Tight. You're just coming straight back. And then right back up. Good. And when you come forward, you're bringing the hips forward just like on that hip thrust. Good.
I love that.
Try to let your arms just hang a bit easier.
You guys make that up?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And just concentrate really hard right here. As you're coming back, just think really hard right there. Pushing your hips into the floor. Or your heels into the floor, excuse me. Good. Just take your hips back. And then back forward. Give me one more like that. And right. So, super important when you're doing this exercise, if you're not feeling it where you need to feel it, you're not doing it right. Lower the weight, learn to really, really feel it. So, if you're looking in the mirror, right? When I'm doing this exercise, now you can see how much dramatically different it is if I'm locked and my legs are straight and I'm bending over like this, right? How much different this is versus with a soft knee and I'm coming back. Now look at how much farther back my hips are here. Now my arms are only right here. Okay, so now if your legs are totally together and you're just bending down, it's just dramatically different. So you get a soft knee and think to yourself, I'm going back with my hips. And like in the old days, as a trainer, they would tell people to imagine that you're in a dark room and you're feeling for a chair. You're trying to find the chair to sit into. And even in your head, teaches you to sit here and come back. You might have to open your stance a little bit wider to feel a little bit more. But it's all about concentrating in here.
Yeah, I feel that more.
Now, a little tip is just when you're holding the weight, if there's any slack in your arms at all, you're now putting the tension onto your biceps, making it way, way harder. So when your arms are totally locked down, they're just basically there as anchors, as levers. So it's sort of like any position where you're completely locked out like that. If you watch like ice skating, for instance, when they're like holding girls over their head and their arms are locked out, you can do that all day. Versus here, now all of a sudden your arms are flexed, you've got tension on the delt. Same thing the opposite way. If you're trying to like pull a car out of a ditch, an emergency situation, if you're going like this, you're pulling with your biceps. It's a lot of extra tension there. If you're totally straight, locked in like this, your arms are just anchors, and now your whole body can now. So try really hard. I see you like trying to.
Yeah, I know. I think about it. I watch old videos. I'm like.
It's just going to make it trickier for you to do that the right way. So what we're going to do now in this next set is we're going to flip it around, and I'm going to have her do this first because I want her to really, really feel the execution the right way, and then we'll do this after. Typically, I like to do the pullover squat first. It doesn't matter. You can do them either way. Good. Those glutes back. Give me one more. Good. Now we're going to come over to the plie squat. Good. 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 Two more. Good. How's that?
Better. I feel way more clear.
I'm gonna try a little bit lighter just because I want you to really nail the form and feel it the right way for when you're on your own. So where I really want you to feel it is here.
Okay.
You're going to feel it here anyway because we already keep your hands pretty flat. The main one I don't want you to feel it is right behind your hips.
Yeah, I don't feel anything.
I want you to feel it farther up into the insertion. So when you learn to execute this the right way, you're going to feel it way up in here in this insertion point. The belly of the muscle, of course, is the biggest part of the muscle. That's where you're always going to feel like a lot of burn. But this is we're doing this to target an area specifically. So if you're not feeling it there, I want you to toy around with it until you can feel it there. So you want to feel it all the way up in here, like where the hamstrings are inserting into your glutes. So you might have to keep your knees even a little bit more straight and get your hips back more to really feel it. You might have to angle your toes out a little bit more, but we want to feel it all the way up in here. That's why I'm going to have to go a little bit later. All the way up in this insertion area right here. Keep on bringing your hips back. Think really hard here. And now when you're coming forward, bringing this back forward again. So you're going to reach back, and now pushing through your heels forward. Think about your heels the whole time. Good. Good. And then when we come up, bringing this all the way forward again, just like when you do those hip movements. Coming back, and then forward again. One more like that. Concentrate real hard. Good. The plie squats. Good. 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 Squeeze hard at the top. Keep going. Keep going, we're gonna do extra one. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. More doing that. So this one, we're gonna go. This is gonna be one of those exercises, especially because she has me here, that I'm gonna really make her like go into failure on. So we're gonna do 4 sets. This first set's gonna count regardless. And our range is gonna be basically, I know this is a broad range, but we're gonna say 12 to 20. So if you have a weight that you can do 20 no problem, do more. Do 25, do 27 if you have to, just know in your head, okay, that was way too easy. Now if you throw a weight on where you're struggling to get 12, where you're doing everything you can to get 12, that to me that's your guideline of where you're going too heavy and you want to cut it off, because I would like you to get into those failure reps after 12. So if you've got somebody there and you're at like 10 and they're pulling the weight up for you to try to get 12, it's too heavy. That's not what we want to do with these kind of exercises and this workload at this point. So first set, I know that you're going to do this a lot. I'm going to put you right in here. Normal shoulder width stance.
There?
Yep. And with a normal, just traditional leg press, you're just coming straight down with your knees and straight back up again. Yep. Good. 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 A little slower on the way down. You can push it up as fast as you can. Good. 3, 4 more. 3, 2, 1 more. Good. Main thing that you want to do on the leg press, just as far as like safety goes, when you're coming down, keep that control on the way down so that your lower back isn't rolling up off the pad, which you're not. Now for you, I'm actually going to put this up just a little bit more. There we go. Just because it's just going to shorten your range of motion a little bit. You're coming down so far, you have a long way to come down. I don't want you to bottom out. So just doing this, bringing you in a little bit closer, you're going to feel a little bit more secure in there.
Yeah,
throw another plate
long
on.
legs.
Now that in itself presents a little bit of a problem with mechanics, because the longer your legs are, obviously, the motion is going to be dramatically different versus somebody that's shorter, has stockier legs, it's easier, have more torque. That's okay. That just means that you've got to really focus on your biomechanics and feeling the form and the exercise and the execution the right way, which is often why I tell people to slow things down a little bit, so you can make sure you're feeling what you're doing the right way. Bring it back in here. Good. There you go. Good. That's perfect right there. There you go. Good. Good. Perfect. Good. 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 Come on. Good. Keep going. There you go. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. You got more. Come on. Give me 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Very good. 1 more again. So that was 20 reps. Now, as I said, I want that failure range to be 12 to 20. Now, I could have absolutely pushed a few more reps out of her. Because of that, I'm actually going to make the weight a little bit heavier, and we're going to push and see where her failure range is really at. And like I said, this is something that you want to do with somebody there that you know that you can trust to guide the weight if necessary. You know,
No, I'm fine with throwing more weight on. Try it.
the leg press is going to be the exercise that anyone is going to be able to move the most weight on. You don't have to worry about back support. You don't have to worry about really anything other than just pushing weight. You'd be surprised how strong you are. But I also tell people, don't get into doing like 500 plates like you see how these people are doing. Fatigue yourself with a bunch of other exercises to where you get to the point where you're on the leg press, regardless of how strong you are. You're making the weight harder by changing your form or the actual speed of the rep versus just throwing a shitload of weight on and just moving it.
I think it's because my first coach, like the leg workouts he had me doing like 50 reps. So I couldn't do like, 3 plates for 50 reps.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like strength is like relative. You know what I mean? Like I've seen girls that can do fucking 10 plates on each side, but not really have great legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all relative. The key is feeling the muscle work as hard as it possibly can, and fatiguing it the right way and getting as much blood in there as possible. I can see from watching you do it and watching you move it that you can do more weight. So we're just gonna figure out where the right weight is to hit you in that failure range. We're gonna throw a 25.
Okay.
Good. 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 Come on. Good. Good. Come on. Good. Good. Come on. Good. Come on. Another one. Come on. There you go. You got more. Come on. Come on. Keep going. Come on. You got a few more. Good. More. Come on. Give me one more. Come on. Good job. So that was 16. And again, I actually know that I could squeeze a couple more reps out of her. So what I'm going to do is let her rest, and we're actually going to put on a little more weight.
Really 3, but I usually do glutes with something else.
Yep.
Like glutes, shoulders, something like that.
Now, obviously, as I said in the beginning, we're doing like a one overall total lower body day. This would be the kind of day that you do if you were only doing legs like once a week, because it's an excess of volume. When you're doing legs multiple times a week, like many women do, some guys actually split their legs into quad hams days, that's fine. Your volume has to be reasonable for what you're doing. So if you're training legs 3 times a week, to be doing 7, 8 exercises every fucking time should overkill. I can promise you, maybe in the very beginning, you'll get results from that. You're gonna overdo it in the end. Now, taking that into consideration, I'm not trying to kill her today, but at the same time, I want her to see the difference between doing one all-out leg day versus priority days. So it's going to be normal, of course, for her to be more sure, which would be.
So since my legs are like my weak point, should I be doing them multiple times a week?
I think that it's a good idea to do.
I usually do like an overall with like a few more quad exercises and like a few glute, and then another day which is like glute and hamstring.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for you, that I would have one hard day that's a more of a quad priority day, and then another hard day that's a glute and ham priority day.
And then should I just stretch the third day where I mix it with like shoulder and arm?
Probably for where you're at now, because overall you have a long frame, and we're trying to fill your whole frame out the best we can, which you've done a lot already. I would rather see you break down those like specific isolations for when we're trying to carve out certain details. When I want somebody to just straight grow, I truly believe in hitting it hard and resting it.
Okay.
I do not believe in the whole like more is better. I have guys all the time that are like, my delts are weak, should I train them like 3 times a week? And I'm just like, no, like you're gonna overdo it. Training something more than once a week is okay. There's plenty of people that have been doing it for years. You just have to know how to design it where you're stimulating the muscle enough to really work it, fatigue it, and put it in a position where it wants to grow, and not trashing it to the point where by the time it's recovered or even starting to recover, you're annihilating it again. Because what happens is, I promise you, over time, maybe your muscles can respond well to that, but the connective tissue, your joints, everything else get wrecked. And then when you have injuries there, then you won't be able to do any of this stuff anymore. And I can tell you that I've done it all myself, and I may like joke around about all the injuries and stuff that I have, but had I known back then what I know now about proper rest and recovery, I wouldn't have done many of the things that I did back then.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say like, oh, you can't overtrain, you can only under-eat or under-recover. That's so stupid. It really is. It's foolish. Yes, you can eat way more and you can take more supplements or drugs that will enhance your recovery, but that doesn't change the fact that you're still beating the crap out of that area every time you come in here and do this stuff. When you come into the gym, yes, it's fun, but what you're doing is you're breaking down the tissue. So it has to build itself back to repair. If you're consistently breaking things down and not letting them build back the right way, eventually it's all just going to really, really break down. So
I've been doing legs 3 times hard for like the last 2 years.
I know a lot of women do that. I'll tell you right now, I did for a long time. I did a quad day and a ham day. And I started getting much better results myself personally when I just did one all-out day. Now, when I got into my show prep, I would often have a day where I would prioritize detail things like glutes, hams, and I do think that has its place, but when you're just trying to grow, you really want to give the muscle the chance to recover the right way, and then of course give it the nutrients that it needs, and then come back in and blast it again. So if we're continuously beating it up, that's not gonna happen. Just another set here. Good. Come on. Good. Good. Come on. Good. Come on. You got more. Keep going. Come on. Come on. I'm barely doing anything. Keep pushing hard. I want 3 more. You can definitely do 3 more. Come on. 2 more. Give me another one. Come on. Come on. Everything you got. Right up. Give me 1 more. Give me 1 more. Come on. That was 12. Give me 1 more. Push, 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 push. Good. 13. So, as I said in the beginning, I wanted to try to fail in that 12 to 20 range. That last one, I was actually starting to help move it a little bit. What true failure is debatable. Okay, so if I took my hand off, I do think she probably maybe would have grinded that out. If I didn't, would she have gotten crushed? Many people will say that they feel failure is when the muscle cannot move anymore. Now, depending on how high intensity that you're going, you can strip weights off, extend that whole failure, or you can just say, well, you can't complete a rep on your own anymore, which is what I'm gonna call it. So what I'm gonna do now, we're actually gonna back down. Okay, I'm gonna pull one of these plates off. You can throw that right on here. Short break. So this is not a drop set because she's actually had a little bit of break, but it's just a shorter rest period. So she's getting back in now. Now in a drop set, somebody's just pulling the weight off for you. So this is basically just a very, very short rest period, not letting the muscles recover. So she's got to keep on firing and going. So we're gonna go again. Good. 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 Come on. Come on. Keep going. Good. Come on. Good. Good. Come on. Come on. Keep going. Come on. Come on. More. More. You got more. Come on. Keep going. Give me 5 more. You got 5 more. Come on. Come on. 1 more. 3. Come on. 2 more. Come on. 1 more. Good job. 25 reps. Now, that was essentially the hardest set she did because she had the lowest amount of rest. This is more than we did. But now you have an idea, now she does, of how strong she really is, where her failure rate is, because going up to this, when she was more rested, we didn't push that hard. Now at the end, even with shorter rest, how much she was able to do that. Now in your mindset, can have an idea of what you've done in the gym, where you want to set yourself for when you're doing these different failure steps. So, what I'm gonna do now is just to show a variation and just an awesome technique that I like on leg press. And this is a great one to do if you're somebody who really needs more shape and depth and sweep, as they say, which is not something you can completely control with the quads, but really to fire the quads a lot more, we're gonna put our feet all the way together, right? And you're gonna concentrate on keeping your knees in, and the range of motion is shorter, so our knees are coming straight, basically right to our chest, and then right back up. It's a shorter range of motion that you're gonna feel right here in the quads a lot, not locking the knees out at the top. We're just gonna get in a good rhythm.
Feet here, higher or
Nope,
low?
right there, perfect.
Okay.
The last set on here. Right there and then up. Good. 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 Keep going. Good. 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 Come on. Keep going. The last set on here. Come on. You got more. Good. 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 Keep going. Keep going. The last one on here. Come on. Good. Good. More. Come on. More. Keep going. Keep going. You told me you've done 50 reps before, so you're at 31. Come on. Good. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. I want to see how many you can grind out. Come on. Come on. More. 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 Keep going. Come on. Come on. Show me how tough you are. Keep going. Keep going. This is 45, 46. Come on. 47, 48, 49. Do 2 more for me. 1 more. There you go. And there you go. 52. Shouldn't have told me that you've done 50 reps.
I know, I shouldn't have.
Actually, true story. I've had people on here before where we've talked about doing 100 rep sets and whatnot. I used to do those when I was young. It is extremely hard to do 100 of anything because typically your lungs give out before anything else. I encourage you to try it. And you're probably gonna have to do something like this with just one plate on there. How's that?
Great. Honestly, hurt, but it was good. I've never even done 2 plates before, so.
See me do some of my workout? I might stay a spot.
Very good. We're gonna walk there, turn around, come back. And I will tell you how I want you stepping as you're doing it. And then just don't even worry about stopping until I tell you to stop. Don't worry about like counting all that. I'll do all that. But I want big steps. When you take your step, right, you're dropping down, and when you come up, you're pushing through the heel to hoop and fire the whole way. And I'll teach you guys doing it. A lot of people make the mistake of, so they lunge and they just keep going forward like this, and then they kind of spring forward. That's not what we want to do. So when you're taking your step, you're coming straight down, and then back up. So the glute can be firing the whole way. And your quads are going to be tired, so they're going to be burning a lot anyway. But you'll know when you're doing it the right way because you'll be feeling the glute firing the whole time, not just your quad burning. Super important.
Okay.
You always want to make sure, especially as a woman, that you're feeling the blood flow, the burning, and the contraction in your glute and ham, and not just your quads. Like when people are doing a lot of exercises where they're like, oh, it's burning my quads, it's burning my quads, and they're not feeling it in the back, and you're not getting that activation, you're not going to develop the muscle the right way. And it's so important to feel the muscle work. That's the most important thing when you're in the gym, is feeling the muscle. So certain exercises that people love, right? I've done them over the years. I'm like, man, I know people love this exercise, but I'm not really feeling it the way I'm supposed to. Then don't do it. If you don't feel the area that you're trying to work in, move on and do something that you do feel a lot. Because if you're not feeling it, no matter how much you're focusing on it, you're not firing it the right way.
That's why I started doing like elevated curtsy lunges, because I started to feel it more.
If you're feeling it, That's what I want.
Yeah.
Like I have people that are like, you know, I do whatever exercise and I feel it in this area so much more than anything else, then good, keep doing that. I would never tell somebody to stop doing that. I have exercises that I fucking love, that I always do, and I have exercises that I hate. And a lot of people are like, oh, you know, the exercises that you hate are usually the ones that are best for you. I disagree. For instance, I hate doing upright rows. And now with all my shoulder injuries, I really can't do upright rows. They're dangerous for my shoulder. It's not necessarily an exercise that's really all that hard. I just never felt them the right way. So why am I going to keep forcing myself to do something because people are like, oh, upright rows are a great exercise. Another one, the dumbbell pullover. Certain people love it. It's actually a pretty dangerous exercise. When I was doing dumbbell pullovers, all I felt was pain in my shoulders. I never felt the good stretch through here. However, I could feel it a lot the way that I teach people to do it with the rope pull downs. I feel that stretch through my serratus the way that I want to. You gotta feel what's best for you and what's working for you. And if you have a coach, trainer, whoever that you're working with, and they're telling you to do something and you're not feeling it the right way, you guys gotta communicate with each other where either they can teach you the right way to do it to where you are doing it, or you can just scrap that. There's too many exercises to not do the right ones. So, walking lunges. So when you step forward and then drop that other leg straight down. There you go. Now push hard through your heel. Step, drop the other leg straight down. Good. So we're going to step with the left. Now you're going to turn around. We're going to step to the right. One more step to the left. And rest. Very good. Perfect. So, on your quad focus day, what are you doing?
Obviously, leg extensions. I do like I can do like sissy squats. I do, for some reason, what I do is like kind of a variation of an RDL where it's like you just body weight and go down. I feel it here. I also feel like, I don't know what it's called, but when you have the thing locked in here and you just sit back.
I mean, that's essentially a sissy squat also.
Yeah. What else? I do a lot of front squats. And sometimes like just to like burn myself out with the like wide to narrow superset, even though wide's more glute.
Squat.
Yeah.
Front squat.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Not front squats wide. More like a dumbbell wide into narrow, and then front squats with a barbell.
Then on your glute hand priority day, what are you doing on that day?
A lot of glute bridges, back squats, a lot of glute kickbacks, curtsy lunges, leg curls, a lot of basic stuff. I don't do anything really like, out of the ordinary.
So you don't get to do.
We don't have a leg press. That's the only issue.
You don't have a leg
like
press.
the lifetime.
And then don't get to do hack squats either, right?
We don't have hack squats. We have I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's a hex bar. I think, no?
Very good. You do any sort of like step up exercises?
Yes, I do either barbell or dumbbell step ups. or like I'll do like single leg and just keeping that leg on the platform.
What about with lunges? Are you doing like reverse lunges?
Yes.
So
Sometimes I'll do like reverse lunges on the Smith machine. I'll elevate my foot a little bit to get deeper. I don't know if that's right.
Yes and no. I have to watch you do it. I'm just, the variety is key anyway.
Yeah.
So the main things that you really can't do are leg press and really hack squat. That's pretty much it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Even though they're super basic. So today was good because we had leg press.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna have you finish on the hack squat since you don't have the option of that. Just that change is gonna be really good for her. I actually love the hack squat. It's for the quads, it's my #1 favorite exercise. If you have a hack squat in your gym, I tell people, I encourage people to do it. Over leg press, over anything else, as far as just straight quads go. Now, I don't really love the pre-core hack squat, which is the one here. So you kind of have to work with what you have. She's doing front squats, excellent exercise. We want to throw some change at her body today, which is why we're going to do those. We're going to do another set here.
also for glutes, obviously plie squats. I do those too. I usually superset it with the RDLs.
So we're going to do one more exercise, and we're going to go all out on this last exercise to finish. She doesn't really ever get to do hack squats, so we're going to go right to this hack squat right here. I'm going to put these back. We're going to get in here. We're going to start with no weight. Shoulder width stance, we're going to be closer to the middle. The lower you go down is going to be a little rougher on the knees. It's obviously going to be a little bit more straight on the quad. When you put your stance higher, you are able to get a little bit of glute ham activation. Now, if you push through your heels, you're going to get some glute activation regardless of this being a quad exercise anyway. So I actually tell people to keep pushing through your heel on these platforms anyway. So we're going to get in here. We're going to take a shoulder width stance. We're going to come up, take a deep breath. Don't rush it on the way down because this machine you will bottom out on. So come all the way down. So right there is just about breaking 90 degrees. So that's where we want to be. Now we're going to get into a rhythm. So what I want you to do is actually bring your feet a little bit closer, just for your specific body shape and type. This is going to give you a little bit more quad. Good. Good. Come on. Good. Good. One more. Good. Perfect. So that's where I want your stance for your shape. You're going to get more quad in it that way. Force through your heels still. Right on. Good. 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 Come on. Come on. Keep going. Keep driving hard through your heel. Up. There you go. Come on. Come on. Come on, you got more. Another one. Another one. Come on. Another one. Good. Turn it back. Very good. Not nauseous though, right?
No.
Good. You never want to throw up from working out.
Yeah.
If you get to the point where you're going to throw up, which could and should only happen on a leg day,
Yeah.
you got to the point where you threw up your food. I know a lot of people say that's like tough, but you went too hard if you threw up your food. Now, some people have sensitive stomachs, like Cody Montgomery. He used to puke all the time. But if you're training to the point where you're getting like sick all the time, first of all, you're losing all the food that you need. You're putting your body through a tremendous amount of stress when that happens. So if you can push yourself to the point where you're going as hard as you can, and maybe you feel a little bit nauseous, but you don't actually throw up, you went really, really hard. You should never get to the point where you're throwing up from a workout. A lot of people think that's like a badge of honor to know that they threw up from a leg workout. You went too much. And if somebody's trying to make you puke, every now and then over the years I've had people that I wanted to prove a point to, that I've essentially in my head been like, I might make them puke just to prove a point. But that's not what a good trainer should do. That's not what you're trying to do. This weight, I believe, is going to be like a maximum weight for her, and I'm going to guide her a little bit. But I do know that she can do it, and I'm going to keep her moving the right way. A machine like this gets heavy fast. So where we just had the 25 on there, and I was able to have her do 15 hard reps. Essentially, we just doubled the weight that's on there, and I still know that she's going to be able to do it. But if she can't do 10 reps, and that's with me even guiding a little bit, it's way too heavy. Now, I do think that she can get 10 reps, and the reason that I picked this particular weight is I want her to feel this set. We're gonna go hard, and then on the last set, which is gonna be after this set, so the last set of the day, we're gonna do a drop set where we strip some weight off. So that's when we're gonna do what's essentially gonna be our longest, hardest, worst set of the day, but then the workout is gonna be done at that point. That's an optimum time to do that. So this weight is preparing you for the set after that, all right? I know you can do this 10 times, no problem, I'm sure.
25 felt heavy, so let's see.
Deep breath, just like you just did. Come on. Good. Push. There you go. Good. Come on. Come on. Perfect. 2 more like that. Right down to 90 degrees like that. There you go. One more like that. Push. Very good. Awesome. So now we're gonna rest.
Yep.
This next set, we're gonna go for 10 again like that. And I'm gonna pull a 25 off. And you're gonna keep on going. You know, there's a rule book on how that you're supposed to do these things, and then there's an unwritten rule book on when you're alone and you're maximizing what you can do on your own. Sometimes you got to get out and just take the weights off yourself. It doesn't mean that it's not a drop set. You're still dropping the weights. It's a little bit shorter rest. That just means you'll probably be able to get another rep or 2. I'm gonna rest a little bit longer. This is the last of the day, so this is everything that you have left in you is going into this set. So I'm gonna determine where I think you can truly go based on how much the weight is moving, watching your face, seeing, you know, the exertion that you put in. So I actually don't know how many you're gonna do. All right, so we're just gonna go until I feel that you can't go anymore and I have to like actually pull the weight. All right? So don't even think of numbers in your head. Your leg doesn't know what 10 is, just knows that it can't push it. You ready?
Yes.
No numbers, just push. Good. Good. One a little bit lower. A little bit lower. There you go. Good. I want them all like that. Come on. Good. Come on. Come on. Another one. Come on. Another one. Come on. Come on. All the way down. Come on. Give me one more, but come all the way down on this one. Push. Stay there. Take a nice big deep breath. All right, let's go. Come on. Good. Good. A little farther down. There you go. Come on. Good. Come on. A little farther down. There you go. Come on. Come on. More. It's the last of the day. More. Come down a little farther. Another one. Come on. Come on. Another one. Another one. Come on. Let's go. Down farther. Come on. Another one. Let's go. Right back down. Come on. Up, up, up. Another one. Come on. Come on. Up, up, up. Another one. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Push, push, push. Another one. Come on. Come on. Come on. Push, 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 push. One more. Come on. Go all the way down. Push, push, push. There you go. Good. See, that was failure. That's a real failure set. She hit it. I had to grab it. Once I grabbed it, that little nudge kept her going. If I didn't do that, would have bottomed out. That's a real failure set. It's extremely difficult to do that on your own. It is also a little bit dangerous. But when somebody says, let's go to failure, that's the right way to do it. That was an awesome set, too. That was a lot. That was more than I expected. We did 11, actually, with the 50 on each side. So an extra one than I thought, and then way beyond what I thought we were gonna do there. So that was a really awesome set. Very, very good. Whew. It should be fatigued.
Oh yeah.
So now, we didn't do a lot of the stuff that she normally does because she can always do that stuff. And yeah, I could sit and critique her on a leg extension. I'm pretty confident that she's probably doing them fine on her own. If you have the option to use either machines or do exercises that you couldn't normally do on your own, always do that. A lot of times when I go to different gyms that have cool machines, I do my whole workout around all the machines that I don't normally get to do. So she doesn't get to do leg press, she doesn't get to do hack squats. Two great exercises for her to stimulate her lower body the right way and throw some change into the mix, and then she'll go back to her regular routine and she'll be even more sore just from switching back to that again. But awesome job.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I honestly, I'm definitely fatigued. Probably the hardest leg workout, not even probably the hardest leg workout I've ever done, but good.
Very good job too. Stronger than she thought that she was moving over. To recap everything, we did lying ham curls, 4 sets around 20 reps. Then we did the glute extensions, again, 4 sets. We weren't being too mindful of our rep range, but 15 to 20 is what you want to do on our own. Supersetted plie squats and Romanian deadlifts. If you're doing those on your own, 3 to 4 sets, depending on how much volume you want to do. And again, reps around 15. I had her do 20. On the last one, we pushed a little bit more. You don't have to worry so much about counting all your reps. You just push the muscle hard. And then from there, we came over to the leg press, and we progressed our way up to a very, very hard, I believe, 4th set. And then we did an extra burnout set. And then we did 3 sets of walking lunges. And then we did 4 sets on hacks. We did a lot of volume, but this is how you would train if you were only doing everything for your lower body 1 time a week, okay? Now, if you were gonna do multiple times a week, cut it up, put all the quad stuff on one day, all the ham stuff on another. You can do extra isolation stuff. Part of the reason why we specifically did these 2 exercises, like I said, is because she can't do them on her own. So we wanted to do some stuff that would be different. But overall, volume, pushing to failure at the right time is the principles that I think that everybody should do. And the one thing that I say a lot is heavy is relative. So 2 plates to some people is going to feel like 10 plates to somebody else. But as long as you're pushing the muscle until it's burning really bad and you can't make it work anymore, then that's heavy for you. And that was an awesome workout. We're going to go check out Blackstone Labs And thank you, Busybody. Hopefully, she doesn't throw up or anything weird. I don't think so. I feel like you probably had more in you. So if you tell me that you're not that sore, now I know for next time, then I'm gonna make it way worse.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel pretty dead right now. I like to shake it. So.
You look awesome.
Thank you.
And from natural body till now, how much muscle that you've put on. You see it in real life. It's one thing to see, you know, the PG transformation pictures, but a lot more muscle everywhere. It's awesome. So I'm super pumped. Very impressed. That's it, guys.